Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Infamous has been waiting to give his impressions on Crimson Desert. Currently, I am at 77 hours deep, chapter 3, and it feels so damn good. But before I get all gushy, get all excited like a little fangirl, I was going to say this game has, to me, this is my opinion, my impressions, have somewhat delivered on what they tried to put out. I'm going to let my cousin take this first, give her opinion, and then I'll go from there. Treese?
Yeah, so just for reference and so we're all on the same page. My cousin was very, very much on the hype train from Crimson Desert. He was slobbing the knob of this fucking game. And now that it's
Hey,
out, he has not moved off his position. If anything, he is doubled down. And I'm just like, bruh. So I just want to give that context before I start because, I don't know, and then, if you don't know, I have a military background, so I'm a no nonsense viewpoint and I'm really rigid in that. I don't like for things to be in gray areas. It's black or white. And people be like, "Oh no, there's no, humans create gray areas to make them sleep better at night, but it's really black and white. It's not that difficult." So listen, Crimson Desert. I've watched a lot of reviews, a lot of content on this game. I've seen the reactions to Twitter. I've seen the ups and downs and since release. So I have to say, from playing this game, let me make this point too. Baby, I first cut this game on a launch PS5. Disgusting looking. Oh my freaking god. And then I played it on a PS5 Pro, and let me just say, baby, the Pro is the only way to play this game. This shit looks so much better, it's so much smoother, everything just runs better. On that launch PS5, it just looked it was and I feel like mine was really struggling, and I'll just say this quickly, the PS5 Pro, if you got it in your pockets and you got Crimson Desert, it's really a well match made in heaven, so I just wanted to make that caveat. I am playing it on the PS5 Pro, and I am not going to look back. And that is, I feel like that's the only way to play this game on the console is on the Pro. But anyway, so listen, there's like I said, there's a mix of a lot of good and a lot of bad in this game. And honestly, in my honest opinion, I feel like both sides are really valid in a lot of the things that they say that is good about the game and that is bad about the game and that they wish was better in the game because there was a lot of excitement. So the story first foremost, the story is not even it's not even mid. It's like like a 5-year-old. You make your imagination time and it's just like, oh yeah, this guy named Cliff, some bad guys happen, and then oh, well, spoilers anybody, but he comes back to life, and there's these people that tell him to go and do all this, and you don't really know why you're doing it. And yeah, the story is very, very, very mid, and I mean, there's still 12 chapters, and most of the time, on average, I think that on average, play hours to complete the 12 chapters is like 84 hours to 100 hours of gameplay. So listen, you gonna put some time in, and a lot of people like that. It reminds them of Skyrim days, and all them earlier games in this type of same genre. But the cutscenes, the best thing about the cutscenes is that the fact that you can speed them bitches up, baby. Because some of them cutscenes, I just be like, what are we talking about? Why am I here? Who are you? Like some of the cutscenes, but that just goes back into the story not really being well, I guess, designed. But I will give them some grace because this started off as a what, like it started off as something else and then it turned into this. So I feel like can feel the traces of like, oh, this was something else, and then they just stuck some duct tape and combined it because it really is not really cohesive. Even the short amount of time I played, it's disjointed. But listen, a lot of people can look past that. A lot of people don't care about that. A lot of people look at the game and says it's freaking beautiful, and they can let a lot of things go. And that's really where I think Crimson Desert That's the best way to frame it. Depending on what your tolerance level is, this game could be really good for you. You could have a great fucking time. You know, like I said, put in 100 hours, feel like your money's is worth because doing all this stuff, doing all these activities. If your tolerance is very, very, not the same, this game is kind of like it could be a hit or miss. And, listen, I'm not saying if you walked away from the game or you're not enjoying it, that I blame you. I can definitely understand, especially pre a lot of these patches. And that's another thing. The game that's a lot of these people are reviewers, they have review copies. They played a totally different experience than I am playing after all the separate patches, especially the one with difficulty adjustments. The bosses are kind of getting more in line. So it's like those people that played Crimson Desert early on has totally a different experience than what I'm playing right now. Now, some people will say, "Hey, they said the game was good enough to put out, so I'm not going to give them extra credit for improving the game." Like, no, don't put no game out and then fix it later. Like, you need to be held accountable from what it was day one. Now, that's not up for me. You can do with that what you must, but I will point out, like, earlier people that already beat the game, I will probably not even like understand what I'm going through in the game because it's a totally different experience. But like, the stories, like I said, the story's mid. It feels disjointed. I really don't care about Cliff, and I really don't know why I do certain things in the story, but the game looks beautiful. The game looks fucking beautiful, and I keep coming with that because I'm a little visually bougie. I will say that the Dark Knight drive that they did to make this fucking game was the best decision because the way the game, especially on my pro, it at nighttime and how it truly feels dark, but when you got the lights, it's like really, really how I say this, like struggling to see in those times at night was a real thing. So it's like a real representation of what the world be. And I feel like the world is full, it's very vivacious, the depths. Usually, because when I play this game, I feel like my Cliff, I feel small and the world is big, like in real life. Most games can't do that. Or it feels like you go side to side and that's the game. But this is side to side big and up and down big. I don't know. I mean, maybe on the graphic, people will understand what I'm saying right there. But this world feels huge and it looks huge, and the depth. That's what I'm saying. This game looks fucking great, and the animals, the birds, the seeing stuff off in the distance, and this game is very, very pretty. I keep coming back, but that Dark Knight engine was probably the best thing. It was fucking made for this game. So, well, Black Space Engine. Dang, I was saying Dark Knight. Black Space Engine. That's what it's called. But yeah, the beginning of the game is very, very rough in my opinion because you're getting used to the systems of this game, I would say. And so it takes a while to get used to this game. And you gotta really kind of play this game consecutively because if you go away and try to come back, you're gonna fucking struggle and it's gonna be, yeah. So I feel like the earth and why people, I heard a lot of reviews saying the first 8 or 10 hours are trash. And I think they felt like that because you're learning all these systems in this game. They're throwing a lot at you. But after, in which they said after you got through the 10 hours, it was a great game. And I think because they got accustomed to the systems of the game and the way the game and the way you need to play this game, that's why it became more enjoyable way after the fact. And I will say I am still in that system learning phase, obviously. So even now, like I can't say like I'm well versed in everything in all aspects of this game. Like, no, I'm still in the learning phase as well. But I think that's really the key thing. And then the balancing issues that were the bosses and all that before all these patches came out. So I think that's a lot of the negativity that was surrounding Crimson Desert and that I could understand. And yeah, I felt it during my playthrough too. But that's just some quick impressions. I'm gonna just keep saying the game is gorgeous. The story suck. Cliff is not interesting. This is not Geralt of Rivia. But listen, the game is gorgeous, and that alone, I'm gonna play the game because it looked good and I can ride a dragon.
Me, on the other hand, I believe there's more good than bad. Granted,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
the initial
I would say that too. I'm not gonna say there's all this negativity,
yeah.
but yeah, it's more good things.
A lot of negativity that review outlets have to me are, I won't say petty, but I feel are sometimes overblown. And it is true. This game is changing by the week. In 2 weeks, 4 patches have gone out and they make drastic changes to the game. The whole 8 to 10 hour beginning thing, I cannot say that I had a problem with it. When the game first started, I didn't know what the fuck was going on, but I am a person who don't give two shits about the main story. The moment I was allowed to roam free, that's exactly what the fuck I did. I roamed around. I did a couple bounties. I made some money. I started farming for upgrades, and I just started exploring, taking in the world as it was. I can say the first 8 to 10 hours, they're a bit slow, they're a bit dry, and to some degree, I understand that because they're trying to set you up, and I really hate to give this fucking comparison. They're trying to set you up how Breath of the Wild did, where they're letting you know, hey, these are the tools. This is how you can interact and choose to engage in this world. And once they hit a certain point, they're like, all right, shoot, gonna be free. Everyone may not agree to that. And I do know I am very exception to the norm. My cousin has stated it many, many times. I do not go on the beaten path. I go wander off. I do tons of side quests. I do tons of optional stuff. I know a good 10 hours of my 77-hour playthrough has been strictly just farming for materials and upgrades because I know how this game plays. It has taken segments, mechanics from different games and rolled them into one. They're very quick to say this is not an RPG. Okay. Well, it's an action adventure open world RPG. You want to play semantics. It is not a story narrative driven game. That's what The Witcher 3 was. This is kind of more akin to like Skyrim. Well, you will make your own adventure and your own story to this. And that's what everyone does. I know people at my job. I know friends, old friends, people on my friends list. Hey, where are you at in the game? Oh, I found this one small town and do some. Didn't know anything about that. Oh, I went up north into the cold mountains. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't do that. There is something for everyone here depending on the type of player that you are. Now, I will admit, this game is not for everybody. If you are looking for a narrative driven, hand holding experience, as someone was saying with the yellow paint and a little line that guides you everywhere, this is not that game. This is not for you. And they are making a lot of concessions to try to appease everyone. And some people think that's a bad thing. Others, I'm like, hey, if that's how they choose to go about it, but go ahead. To me, I'm having a great time. I enjoy the absolute shit out of this game. I'm not slobbing on the fucking knob, as my cousin would say. I saw what they showed off and it intrigued me because for anyone who was not old enough to know or was not there originally, when Skyrim came out, what made it so great was to play the game and get lost in it. I can say right now, 15 years later, I have not beat the main story of Skyrim. I really don't know what the fuck it's about. I know it's about the dragon and some Dragonborn shit. That's about it. I don't know what happens at the end. I don't know, and I don't care. I didn't care for the story. I don't care for the story for this. Whatever is going on with the Gray Main thing, yeah, I will get to that. But to get immersed and get lost into this game for 3 hours to go by, and you're like, hey, what quest did you do? Quest? What are you talking about? Bro, I cleared out 4 bandit camps. I found this awesome weapon. I bought this armor for my horse. Hell, making money. Cause I can tell you right now, you can play this how other games do with selling the gear you find. Or you can do a little bit better like I did. I found gambling dens and I played them and I made money. I love the graphics. I love the freedom. But I will say there are some negatives. One thing that gets me, the save system. And I know some people are like, what do you mean save system? So this is not kind of like how most open world-ish games are, where you save is where it picks you up at. It will transport you to the nearest camp or whatever thing nearby. It won't have you directly where you save that. That has gotten some of the motions could have been done better. I can't tell you how many times I have hit square when I needed to hold square. There are some things you have to do one or the other, and it's like you all need to convey that a little bit better. The controls do not bother. I don't know why people harp on it. It is a lot to remember. It is a lot to engage in, but you really don't have to on certain aspects if you don't want to. Like some people had an issue with square or X being jump and A/X. But if you want to get realistic, that's the controls for Grand Theft Auto. It's been in every game. All of them are like that. Back to GTA 3. So I don't know what the big deal is. And then now it's come out. They had a bigger, grander plan for the story. You were supposed to be a king and rallying up, and things changed. So what? I really don't care. This is a sandbox gameplay game first. They've come out and admitted that. They focused on gameplay, they focused on the world, they focused on everything but the story. And the CEO, I want to say this, I'm not giving them a pass because, I mean, you have to have a story in these games. That's just something how it goes. But the fact for them to come out and say, hey, we could have did a bit better. We focused on what we did and we came up short. I commend them on that. In an era where companies just don't listen to feedback and blame the consumer, I'm looking at you, Bethesda, on, oh, you're just not playing the game right. What? How dare you? How dare you tell me how to play something I chose to partake in? Like, the fuck? That's one. And then two, how you engage with the game. It is truly up to you. You can choose to be stealth. You can choose to climb in a house and rob a guy. You can choose to be an outlaw. You can choose to be a farmer. You choose to do anything however you want. Another negative aspect I do have, and it may seem tedious, it may seem petty. I do not like puzzles in fucking video games. I don't. I never have, and probably never fucking will. And to some people are like, what? Oh, but hey, that's just me. And even though, yes, I did play Breath of the Wild, I played it for 178 hours. I loved every last bit of it. I did 112 of the 120 shrines, and hey, I had a strategy guy with me because I don't want to think, I want to do. But this game has a shit ton of puzzles, and they are not, like I said, holding your hand. You need to really sit there and think, look at environmental clues, or look up a guide. All around, I'm just having a great time. Letting things play out how they be, gambling, making the money. I love the bounty system. How you can really run up and tackle a dude, beat his ass in the street, tie him up, and no one will sit up there. People will cheer you on, like, oh man, yeah, get that guy. Load him on your horse. And at the time of the recording, they have stated that more patches and changes are come. Everything the community talks about or feels they have a gripe with, they are addressing it and saying, hey, okay, we'll make the change, rather than saying, oh, well, we don't want to do that. That's how we designed it. There's difficulty coming. Difficulty adjustment coming. Being able to refight bosses. The open world environment will be repopulated. Once you clear out a camp, it can be retaken. There were complaints that people felt like, yo, once you have beaten and did the game, everything, that it's empty. Once you've cleared out everything, it had nothing left to do. And they said, hey, you want more, and you didn't want to go to New Game Plus, which I want to add that this game came with New Game Plus already and wasn't added 3 months down the line. I'm looking at you, fucking Sony, with Ghost of Tsushima, Yote, Out of War. I just put in the fucking game when it launches. Why I gotta wait? They listen to critical feedback and truly try to make amends. Now you can say, oh, well, that should have been the game at first. That's true. And the game does have its bugs, but this is their first crack at a game like this on such a large scale. And to me, they have delivered more than they have faltered. Now, I'm not glazing over them like, oh, they couldn't do no wrong. Yeah, there are problems with it. Every open world game has issues or problems. That's just a jack of the trade now. It's not great. It's not something to overlook, but as consumers hold them accountable, they try to fix. And I do love that about it. Now, the next gripe, the horses. I'm sorry, the taming of the horses. That fucking mini game is ridiculous. I don't know who thought of it. I don't know if there's changes coming, but and then finally the add-on that my cousin kept repeating, it is a very, very gorgeous, very detailed game. From the moment it loaded into that dark starry night, at the camp before the ambush and the ass kicking came. It is a very, very highly detailed, wonderful game. And I hope devs are taking notes between them, between Larian Studios, between Black Myth Wukong. There are devs out here showing up how games should be done and not piecemealed together and just, oh, well, just take it and enjoy it. I look forward to much, much more time in playing into this. I love how they have the kind of Game of Thrones aspect with the different houses and you could do favors and territorial battles going on. Very, very, very much wonderful. These type of games I do enjoy. It ain't perfect, not in the long shot, but it is highly, highly enjoyable if you like these type of games. I'm just gonna leave it there. That's my impression. A flawed masterpiece. That's what I would say with this game. Anything you had to add, Trace, more to this?
You covered everything that I wanted. So yeah, I'm good. Like I said, I'm still currently playing, still currently getting used to the systems and everything and how in which I'm supposed to play this game to make my character be what's the word? To utilize him in the correct manner to get the most pleasant play experience that is Crimson Desert. But still got a long way to go. 100 hours probably gonna be clocked easily on Crimson Desert with all the stuff. And then I will say they are quick with these patch updates. And then I do gotta ask though, if they're so quick with the patch update, why did this game just not get enough play testing? Did they not do some focus groups? Like, I would have thought some of this feedback that they've been getting from the community would have been presented or brought up then. Like, well, maybe I don't really understand game development. Maybe this is all wishful thinking on my end that they do this stuff and maybe they didn't. And they hey, at least it's fast. At least it's fast. I'll give them that.
You do make good points, and that is something that was brought up numerous times in my Discord groups, in YouTube videos, on Twitter, all across the place. Everyone has asked that question as quickly as they make this turnaround because current gaming, this shit would have took months if not maybe
Yeah.
longer or weeks. They turned this around in days, and some people were saying like, oh well, they're all hands on this, and they are able to do this because they are accustomed to making on the fly changes because they made the MMO. But then it's like, okay, if they can do this, why wasn't this just implemented from the beginning? Is there a lack of focus testing? And some people try to say, oh, it's because they're Korean dev. This is their second game. This is that the various different narratives going on. And that is a very good question because I remember when the news went, I was like, oh, the game went gold. It's like, okay, well, what did that version look like? What did that have? And certain YouTubers have let it be known that when they got the game, they all were in a very specific, very private Discord. And a lot of changes, or I'm sorry, a lot of things they discussed about the game that they had issues with. They're like, okay, they took it in stride and was like, that would just be all implemented in the day one patch, which it's sad to say we have to still rely on such a thing because they once upon a time used to be you didn't have to do that. When the game came out, it was out. So yeah, maybe there is something we are missing. Maybe it is a cultural thing, a localization thing based on where they're at. Maybe. Maybe everyone in the studio was like, yo, this is great. This is great. People gonna love this. And then some people are like, hey, well, I like it, but I don't like this. Hey, this is nice, but hey, you should tweak this. And I'm like, oh, we didn't think about that. Okay. Maybe they bit off more they can chew. Maybe their ambition was too granular, but I do agree with you on that. A lot of people have brought that up.
Yep. But like I said, more good stuff here than bad stuff. So I'm definitely gonna continue to play. It looks gorgeous. Yeah, but let us know what you think and how you feel in the comments down below.
And that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time, are you not entertained?